Hello and welcome to the fourth in our series of tutorials, that is the Judy tutorial, where we will deal with magic and all related fields. Magic remains one of the least intuitive aspects of this game and is often cast aside as useless and with good reason. Magic does comparably less damage than physical attacks, it takes a much longer time to build, and it requires some of the rarest panels in-game before it becomes any good. So it's understandably less popular. Regardless, it does one thing that physical skills can't, and that is healing. The ability to heal remains one of Magic's strongest arguments, along with other uses such as buffs and other combo-related tricks. There are a total of 5 magical elements in-game, based on the Chinese elemental system, each with unique characteristics. Fire has a wide range of damage spells, but also contains some offensive buffs. Earth consists of a variety of status-inflicting spells and physical buffs, but also has a damage spell for combat. Metal has a lot of physical buffs and some treasure-related utility spells, but is also known for having an arsenal of offensive spells that deal damage to all enemies. Water is the only element with a practical healing spell, and it even has a variety of damage and defensive spells, making it the most versatile in the game. Wood has a lot of weird utility spells, which range from absolutely useless to completely amazing, and has the highest damaging spell in the game, but it's pretty rare to come by. Finally, there's the forbidden or non-elemental spells. These spells are extremely rare to come by, and they consist mainly of very strong attack spells and enemy debuffs. There are a total of 3 ways to use magic. The first and simplest is to use a familiar. By simply having a familiar in your panel setup, you can use a set of given spells from that particular familiar. While in battle, simply scroll left or right until you find the familiar, then use one of the spells as an action. The choice of spells available is dependent on the level of the familiar, so only 5 of the most basic spells of that familiar's elements are available. Also, using a familiar does not use up durability, so it's good if you want to save your weapons and accessories. Be warned though that familiar spells cannot be used on the map since it is instead used as a guide skill. The second and most common way to use a spell is to use them as learned arts. This is the game's intended method for you to use spells, and it is the most complex. To do this, first you need to learn the spells by collecting magic tablets. Then, you need to equip any weapon or accessory with the art skill of the corresponding element. Then, simply select the weapon in battle and the list of arts learned of that element should show up. Note that some of the characters, particularly in Laura's quest, have quite a lot of magic skills learned, so it's a matter of finding the right weapons for the job. To see what spells you have learned, what element it belongs to, or what abilities it does, simply go to the Skills and Arts menu to look them up. The spells are listed by element with clear descriptions to their abilities. To use these spells on the map, simply scroll down the list of skills on the skill command to the item with elemental art. Note that spells used this way often have some other purpose on the map. Most of the attack spells can be used to open magic locks, while some others have some strange functions such as chasing away monsters or creating walls. The third and final way to use magic is to use magically imbued items. If you visit a magic shop, you'll often find a collection of items with magical spells imbued into them. These will let you use the spells even without having them learnt, but be warned, these items have very low durability and cannot be repaired at blacksmiths without losing their imbuement. Although quick fixing is okay. Use this only under dire circumstances or if you wish for a character without familiars to learn spells. Speaking of learning spells, the process of learning magic is an adventure in itself. To begin, you need to find a magic tablet, which are pretty rare in and of themselves. Either go on side quests that specifically have tablets, or fight treasure chest monsters for a chance at one. Tablet farming is one of the most frustrating aspects of the game and will be covered in detail later in Armic's tutorial. Next, select the tablet from the magic tablet option in the status menu. This is the most easily forgotten step even for veterans like myself. Always do this at the beginning of quests since it does reset on some occasions. Then you just have to use magic in battle, using either of the three methods mentioned previously. At the end of battle, you will be presented with a tablet deciphering screen where you pick one of the three spells you can try to learn. Once you fill up the bar, the spell is learned and will be available to cast using the correct art skill. As always, you can check the skill and arts menu to see what the spells do. Additionally, a completely mastered magic tablet will give you a bonus to its element. So even if there are spells on it you don't want to learn, finishing it off is still a good idea. Magic Blender. Magic Blender is probably the only way that a magic user can match a physical character in terms of damage. However, the panel is so ridiculously rare that even though it is a necessity for most mages, the practicality of farming for it makes it impossible to consistently build good mages. Regardless, what Magic Blender essentially is, it's a spell amplifier that uses other spells to boost up damage. Occasionally, by blending the correct spells, the spell changes into a more powerful hidden spell that is capable of dealing heavy damage or give certain functions that were previously unavailable to an element, such as healing spells for wood. To do so, first select the Magic Blender from the skill command, then choose a base spell. Then, place up to 3 additional spells to upgrade the spell's power. With the right combinations, the spell changes into a blended spell with completely different abilities. Previously in Kurt's tutorial, I've mentioned some but not all the aspects of comboing, particularly the speed. Speed management is essential to a successful multiple hit combo. In essence, all the actions both you and your enemies perform have certain speeds. Recklessly comboing without knowledge of speed can lead to combo interruptions, meaning less damage to the enemy and more damage to us. How does magic play a role in this, you ask? Well, one property of magic is that it is very, very slow. We can use this fact to abuse the combo system as such. One way is to have all your characters use magic. This will most likely result in the enemy using up his actions first, since all of our actions are so slow, and lets us complete a 5-hit combo for massive damage. The other, more complex way is what is called the magic and melee, or the M&M trick. Since magic is the slowest action in the game while melee is the fastest, this trick allows you to combo with physical attacks, which means more damage overall than a magic combo. To perform this trick, start by choosing 5 actions, 2 of which is magic, and 3 is physical with at least 1 melee action. With melee selected, because of its speed, the turn order should begin with your actions. Perform a single action with the magic first. This will slow down our actions significantly, allowing the opponent to use up all of his actions at once. Then, simply perform a 4-hit combo with the remaining actions. The benefit of this latter method is twofold. First, it allows us to deal good damage without wasting durability, which is great for single-target normal fights against a strong enemy. Second, with the right panel setup, this will always ensure a level 4 combo, which could be saved at the combo sorting screen for even more damage. Alright folks, just a short tutorial this time. Stay tuned for the long-awaited Ruby tutorial where we will discuss panel setups. It's one of the most complex things that the game has to offer, so it will be extremely heavy loaded, so much so that I might have to split it into 2 tutorials. Anyways, see you later.